Darin Burns, I'm going by his Wikipedia, from Montreal, played with the Etobicoke Argonauts, Hamilton Hurricanes, Burlington Braves, and then into the CFL with the Hamilton. And the years, by the way, were 85 to 90. Hamilton Tiger Cats, Montreal Alouettes, Ottawa Rough Riders. And he joins us today, I can assume, from only Moncton, New Brunswick. That's where I met him. G'day, Burnsy. How are you, my friend?
Hey, how you doing, Rod? Good, brother. How you doing?
Good. Are you in Moncton?
Actually, no, I'm in Hamilton.
Okay,
As
beautiful.
You can tell, you've got Calgary helmet on your desk, and I've got the McMaster and the Yates Cup here on loan from McMaster University.
Your kid gave it to you, yay, for a day? Is that the deal?
Yeah, he's letting it. Let Dad use it for the day.
Okay, well, Darin, listen, I'm excited. Everybody's excited, actually. You saw the reaction when the news came out that at 55, he's a D lineman, by the way, folks.
Actually, 56. I'm going to be 57. So thanks for making me feel. Do I look younger?
Well, actually, you do. But you're making it an even more remarkable story that the plan was for you to make a comeback and play senior football, but there are CFL people telling me that there's a chance that you might actually lace them up in a CFL game. Man, just tell me the story.
Well, basically, about a year and a half ago, I kind of lost the sight of my feet. You know, I couldn't, my waist got up to a 47 waist. It was like 325, blood pressure up through the charts. And I decided to go to the gym and work out. So I went down to see a friend of mine. My son Taylor was busting my balls to get back into the gym. So I went down, we took a picture of myself and just started to slowly progress through working out and getting, just to get healthy again. And through the process, my body started to react well. And then about a month into the program, I looked back at a picture and I looked at the date, and it was my mentor, Bruce Smith, who passed away 8 years ago. And it was his anniversary. So it was kind of like a kick in the balls from above, I guess, to do something to myself. So through the process of that, and then my son says, Dad, why don't you come in and play some football with the Mustangs? And he and I would suit up together and play. So went through that process of lifting weights and just getting in shape. And and now here I am. And my strength is, I'm stronger now than I was when I played. I'm weighing 300. My waist is down to 35. I'm benching 225 for 22 reps. I ran a 5.2 laser 40. So, the speed, the strength's there. It's like the fountain of youth we found.
I know, but I want to point this out to our viewers, because the guys are sitting here going, for one, as you're talking with what you're doing. But the thing is, you're no dumb jock. I met you at Touchdown Atlantic. You're a very successful entrepreneur in Moncton. You probably won't take credit for this, but the football guy said that event was a success because of your work in football in New Brunswick. So that's how we got to meet and spent we were together for 3 straight days. And I loved it.
Yeah.
So what were you going to say?
Well, no, it was a great time to get all the old guys together and tell old stories and lies about ourselves, and it was a great success for the community. And the commissioner had a good time, and the event was great. The Royal Oaks Golf Course, they took really good care of us, and I'm hoping that we can do it again in the near future. Viewers
are writing in, which CFL teams did Darin play on? I mentioned Hamilton, Montreal, and Ottawa. Now, 86 Ticats won the Grey Cup, did they not? Were you on that team?
No. In September, I got my rights. I was a junior player at the time. My rights got traded over to Montreal. So I ended up watching the Grey Cup game in Florida on tape delay on ESPN, watching my old teammates win the Grey Cup. So I was happy for them, but pissed off that, I was on vacation. So I got to watch
these days they are giving guys a ring, but maybe it wasn't the same back in 86. But here's the thing. Let's explain the senior football in New Brunswick, because I believe that was what your goal is. I related it to senior hockey out here in Western Canada, Darin. It's like semi-pro, and that's kind of what you guys got going on in New Brunswick. Am I right?
Yeah, we got some kids that have gone to the CFL from the league. Mike Miller, who plays at Winnipeg now, that was in Edmonton, who got all decade in special teams. He played with me in the Mustangs in 2009. So, there's some good players out there. It's just, there's a mystique about Atlantic Canada does not have good football program. Well, they do. It's just that they don't have the exposure. There's a lot of really good, talented kids that play in the league. It is a tough league. I mean, you're still going to hit a 300-pound guy on a football field. It's still 300 pounds. So, the guys are, it's good. It's a community-based. There's 7 teams in the league, 4 in New Brunswick and 2 in Nova Scotia and 1 in PEI. And we travel around. We got a good fan base. Our games are televised. It's a lot of fun. and it's a really tight brotherhood between all the teams and that, what have you.
I noticed that for sure when I was out there. It was hard not to notice. But you and I didn't talk about this after. So when this story broke that you're making this comeback, and by the way, I couldn't believe the photos and the videos of what you're doing. What about these former CFLers that are saying, this guy isn't serious, is he? He's 56 years old. And I'm like, I know him, and he's serious. How did you react to what some alum are saying?
Well, I've had a few alumni guys say, I wish I could do what you're doing, Bernsey, but my wife would kill me. So, I just think that, it's a goal. It's something that I'm very much goal oriented. My whole life has been like that. It was something that I wanted just to do to prove to myself. There's a lot of baggage that's in my background that this has kind of been therapeutic for me. I wouldn't do it if I knew I couldn't do it. So I don't like to fail at anything that I attempt to do. So anyone that's laced them up and stood beside me on a football field knows that I'm serious when it comes to playing football. So I'm not, these guys, I mean, maybe they're, I don't know what to say to them, but I just look at it as I'm inspiring people. It's motivation to get back onto the field. And I've had people, CEOs of companies, call me up and saying that's asked me to guest speak at their businesses. So I'm inspiring some people. So, to hell with it. I'm happy with what I'm going to do. And, at the end of the day, nobody's going to really know the outcome until I actually put the pot on the head and go out there and knock somebody out.
For sure, Darin. And by the way, these were my friends. They weren't chastising you. They were looking at a 56-year-old. You could conceivably be the Gordie Howe of football. This is what we're talking about right here. And I wanted to make it clear to people, Darin, that you are not a guy trying to cling to your youth. You're not a guy that has regrets, so you want to go do that. You're doing this because you committed to a life change, and you want to see how far it goes. I think it's important that people know that distinction.
Yeah. Well, for me, when I was a young kid, if you go back in my history, I was raised in group homes, was sexually abused, beaten up. My mentor, Bruce, he passed away of cancer 8 years ago. So it's still something that I'm dealing with today. So for me, this has been a therapeutic journey to get out on the field, do this one last hurrah. It's something that I personally need to do. And it's just a healing process. I've got a really good team of support behind me. I've got a nutrition coach, Ron Oliver, who has been working with me on my diet. I've got another lady named Sonia who's been working with me mentally to get me prepared for all this. I've got my buddy Herb, who's been training me. And I got another young girl named Kamisha who works with me on my stretching. And I have a massage therapist that works on the body. So I'm almost like a car at an Indy 500 where there's a pit crew and everyone just works on it. And I just try to I just listen to what everyone's telling me to do, and away I go. So through the process of doing this, I've had a lot of baggage, and it's been very difficult, my life growing up to the point where I'm at now, where I've had a bunch of issues. So what Sonia's been working with me on the mental side of things, because this is a very difficult thing to do, is to prep yourself and turn back 30 years on your life and and be prepared for this. So we've gone through my life, breaking down, going through emotional barriers, going through this, going through that, and coming up and getting my mind clear for this. And, I feel great. Like right now, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm enjoying the journey, as Sonia calls it. It's a journey, and I'm becoming a better person because of it.
Well, when you talk about the pit crew, I'm thinking now all you got to do is go run the race and win the race. Right now it's on you. You don't want to let those guys down and girls.
No. And whenever I do something in Bruce's name, I always come through. So anyone that knows me knows my relationship with Bruce. I'm not going to fail at this. So, I'm looking at the opportunity now of playing senior ball, having a good time. I know what the expectations are, and I know what you have to do to prepare to play pro football. I know physically I can handle it. Not to play like an 18-game schedule. Let's face it, I'm not going to be playing pro football. It's mostly an opportunity for me. Be a good story for the CFL, where I was a 14-year-old ball boy with the Argos. I met Bruce from a football camp, hitchhiking run by the Argos. Was a ball boy with the Argos. I was a ball boy with Alonzo Highsmith and Eric Metcalf. Those two guys had pretty good NFL careers. Their dads played on the team with Bruce. I went on and did my junior with the Tobico at 15 years of age in '79. I'll be playing now this year. It'll be my 6th decade of playing football because I played in 2009 and 2010. So getting back to it, going out and playing a half a dozen plays at a CFL game, I have no problem doing that. I mean, I'm just as strong as any other guy that's on the field. I wouldn't be able to take the pounding of, 60, 80 plays in the game for 18 games, but for a couple of preseason games and maybe a regular season game, I can definitely do it. And I would be honored to do it and carry the banner for a lot of people that have supported me through my life.
Well, and I would put myself in that group, but when I did meet you, you told me after the fact you were at one of the lowest points mentally in your life, and I thought, well, you're already a winner once I heard your story of what you've came through. So this, to me, is just like, so are you waiting on that CFL opportunity, or do you have one lined up? Are we looking at getting into a camp here? What's the deal?
I'd like to get into a camp. Ideally, which would be great, is I signed with Toronto in 1987. I was the first Canadian to go to a CFL combine that never attended university. Actually, I quit high school in grade 9. So I went to the camp in 87, and all the CFL teams were there, and I got pulled around, and all these, linebacker, tight end, the Argos brought me up and said, Leo Cahill took me to his office. It was kind of funny because when I was 14, Leo put me under his wing to be a ball boy, and he said, Darin, if you ever want to play in the CFL, you'll learn how to do everything, including carrying a water bucket when you're a Canadian. So I learned how to long snap and all that kind of fun stuff. So it was kind of neat to actually have Leo bring me into his office and sign me to a contract. So I signed my contract with the Argos, and it was sent into the CFL office, and it got rejected. Because what had happened is in 86, I was with Montreal, but I became a free agent. Bob Gary, who was the player personnel for Montreal, actually went into Leo's office while I was on the field auditioning for the other CFL teams, put me on their negotiations list. So my contract got rejected, and I was forced to sign in Montreal. And in Montreal, the team folds. I had knee surgery, and there went the 87 season. So it was kind of a shitty turn. So for myself, I would love to play in Toronto, to go back there. That was Bruce's last team. Bruce wore 61. Bruce and my life is very similar. We both grew up in shitty childhoods. I was sexually abused. I was beaten up, abused at school. Bruce went through Texas as a young black guy. So he went through the segregation, black guy line, white people line, all that kind of fun stuff. So Bruce and I, when he picked me up hitchhiking to take me back to my group home, the next day he came back to my group home to take me to lift weights, and we started to talk, and we built a bond. So I very much tried to be like Bruce. Bruce has been like the closest thing to a father to me in my life. And when he played football, his first team was the Ticats. My first team was the Ticats. He played defense line. I played defense line. He went into real estate. I went into real estate. He became a minister. I said, woof, that's a little too deep for me to go into that. So I just went on. But the idea for me to be able to strap on and put Bruce's number on and play in Toronto, that would mean something to me. And a fun fact on all this stuff, after Bruce died, and I know Bruce would be laughing his ass off right now, is that everyone always used to call me Bruce's kid. Well, my father, I found out after he died, was adopted I was talking to my uncles. He was adopted by my step-grandfather, who I always took as my grandfather. My father was actually born Linton James Smith, which means my name would have been Smith. So I don't know how much more I could be like Bruce.
Maybe you're related. Maybe you're related. Yeah, Jeff in Winnipeg writes in. He says, you're an inspiration, Darin. Way to go. Dean Lubchenko says, Darin, I love hearing about this journey you're on. I hope you accomplish your goal. Donna Berger says, love hearing life stories. Randolph Zora says, Darin, you are an inspiration to us all, especially us 50-somethings. I can say this story has Argos written all over it, especially with the people I know in that organization. I think they would love the publicity it would generate, for one. But my last thing is, Father Time is undefeated. At 56, your wife, who, by the way, if there was ever a case of outkicking your coverage, you've done it, Darin. You know that. She's probably going, you can't get hurt because you don't heal as fast. You don't heal as fast. Right.
Yeah, she's kind of tired of it, but, it's... but I'm right now just, like I said, I'm just, enjoying the moment, enjoying the journey. I think it's got an amazing story. I mean, if it wasn't for me going to that football camp, if it wasn't for me meeting Bruce, none of this would have ever happened. And it just goes to show, that's why I always try to give back in the football community to young kids, is that we need more people that were like Bruce. Take the time, take the time to help with a young kid. You never know what the impact that you will have in the future down the road with that kid.
Well, this viewer, Greg Klevgard, just said what I was thinking. You've already won. Regardless, great job. I can't imagine what Bruce is thinking as he watches you do this. So, Burnsy, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of cool is that, like with my son, Taylor, he's a third generation of Bruce. He got Rookie of the Year at McMaster. He was down playing football in Virginia at Episcopal High School for 2 years, made first team All-State, made the OUA All-Rookie team. And he's a kid that will definitely be playing pro football, if not on Sundays, in the next couple of years. And it's all a carryover from when Bruce met me when I was 14 and till today. So it's a really special journey. I owe everything to football. Football's the greatest sport on the planet. CFL game is an amazing game to watch and play. And I just hope that, I'm going to get this opportunity. And Mike, if you're listening, pinball, I'm coming. I'd love to come and play. I don't care about the money. The money's not the issue. I'm actually, anything that I get from this journey, I'm going to be donating it to Bruce's organization. I've actually got some merchandise that's been made, bought for me. Well, I saw yesterday you're wearing a Tom Brady. That's a logo that somebody designed for me that we're going to be selling my hats and jerseys, and all the proceeds are going to go to Boys and Girls Clubs.
I love it. Well, you're saying Pinner. I'm saying get Murph on the phone. Murph!
Yeah.
He's the guy.
No, I know that I don't run the 4.740 like I used to. 5.2 isn't bad, but one thing I find that Father Time does give us is good vision, and it allows us to, I see the game a lot quicker. So plays that I might not have picked up when I was 25, I would have made up for it on my speed. But now I see a play before it happens, so that quarter second that I'm losing or what have you, I can make it up mentally on a field. So, I'm not worried about getting hurt. I've been out hitting guys. I played 10 years ago. Like I said, my strength, my body's all there. I'm ready to go. I'm actually looking forward to hitting some people this year because there's a lot of pent-up frustration in here, especially this COVID being locked up for a year.
I bet. All right, Burns, we got to run. Proud of you. Keep in touch. Good luck.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Mike Lee writes in My Deal Mike. He says, I want Darin to come to camp in Saskatchewan so I can get an autographed jersey. Everybody wants him on their team.
Oh, yeah.
What a story. We've got it.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.